listening to the Align and Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Monique, and in this episode, I want to share with you how you can create a program that sells, even if you're worried that it's not compelling or interesting enough. So I don't know about you, but I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling of maybe you want to create a program. And at first you get really excited and you start thinking about all these ideas and what it could look like, how much money you could make, how many people you could help. So you start dreaming about it. You start planning it out. Maybe you even start building it out in a program like Kajabi or Member Vault, some sort of course creator platform. You're feeling really excited. And then self-doubt starts to kick in. So you start worrying, what if what I'm offering isn't going to be interesting enough for the people that I want to share it with? What if nobody buys this? What if I'm just wasting my time? And you end up pausing and feeling like, should I even keep doing this? You might just leave it on the shelf. Can you continue paying for your Kajabi subscription? Or you just pause the whole thing and you don't move forward. If you have ever felt this way, this episode A is going to be absolutely for you. And even if you haven't maybe gone that far, just know that it's super, super common and I want to address it today. And when we think about it, there's actually a very well-known metaphor for this kind of process. So I want to share how to get past it. And I'm going to share some 4 big ideas to get you past this phase. Before we even dive into how to address this, I want you to know about this metaphor of the canyon. Anytime you go to create something, when you go to create it, you're on one side of the canyon, you need to get to the other side, and you can clearly see your vision of where you want to go. And so you start working on your program, you start working on your project, and you start going down the canyon of creation. And as you go down into the canyon, you lose sight of your vision. And when you get to the bottom of it, you're like, why did I even start this? What am I even doing? Will people even buy this? What was I thinking? It is a very normal part of the creative process. And I'm sure you can relate to that. And you can think of a time when you created something that you had that feeling. And I know I've had that feeling probably for every product, every piece of curriculum that I have ever written and sold, because I used to be a curriculum writer. I've created many different programs, much like lots of different types of curriculum for teachers, for entrepreneurs. And I always go through this phase. And then you climb out and then you see your vision on the other side. The key to getting past it are having some tools and some shifts in your mindset to get out of this phase. So having some strategies in place, because people might not buy. People might not buy, and that's okay. We need to have strategies and mindset shifts so that you can get out of this phase and it doesn't keep you stuck. So the first big idea that I want to share with you today is one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen a lot of experts making when it comes to designing their programs and how you can avoid it. So what it is a lot of us come from our own expertise and what you want to teach. So maybe you're a therapist, a psychotherapist, and you want to help people with people pleasing, or you want to help people with some sort of emotional regulation. If you're in the parenting space, maybe you're in the health space and you know that this one particular health strategy, fitness strategy, whatever is, you really want to teach it, right? And the challenge with this is we need to be able to meet people where they're at. When we come from our expert lens, that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to buy. And if you create from your own lens of the expert, that means that people aren't necessarily going to buy what you create, and it's not necessarily going to help them. It can help them, but they don't know that it will help them. If they knew that self-regulation or emotional regulation was the solution in their parenting, they'd be doing it. So I remember I went through this phase when I was looking at creating my next program for entrepreneurs. And I was talking to one of my messaging coaches and I said, the thing I really want to help people with is lesson planning. I want to help entrepreneurs with lesson planning. And she was like, don't really know if that's quite the right angle. Because I look back, like, what entrepreneur says they need help with lesson planning? Nobody. No one talks about lesson planning in entrepreneurship. No one talks about lesson planning in the course creator space. Even though that is what you're doing, nobody talks about it like that and nobody uses that language. what you need to do is get really clear on the problem that you're solving and how your people describe that problem. If you cannot use their words and you do not identify a problem that you solve, you can create a course that no one will buy. You need to be able to say, this is the thing I'm really good at. I really want to teach this. You can start there. Not every mentor will say that, but I truly believe you can start with what you want to teach, what you want to put out. But then you need to create a map in the world, in the online space for your clients, for your customers, for your students. What problem is it that they're facing and how is this the solution to their problem? And then you needed to say it in a way that they are going to understand. So I saw this so clearly, even actually yesterday, I'm running ads at the moment, and I got a comment on one of my ads. And the ad in particular is about don't teach what you know, use teach to grow content, and how you can avoid really being the fire hose in your content and just fire hosing people with information. You want to be an irrigation system, and you want to give people the right information at the right time so that they can actually grow and use it and take action on it, right? And he said, oh, so like instructional design? And I'm like, yeah, of course, instructional design. But imagine if I came out with an ad and I was like, hey, do you want to work on your instructional design? I can help you with that. Like, most entrepreneurs aren't going to stop there. I mean, really, when I think about it, even though I come from an education and curriculum writing background, when one of my best friends, did her master's in instructional design, I had to think about that. I was like, oh, what is that exactly? Let me think about that. That took brain power in my mind to figure out what she was talking about. And I come from an education background, but I took it upon myself to figure out what she was talking about because she's one of my best friends and I wanted to know what she was studying and what this new career move was that she was creating, right? But people who are scrolling on Instagram, running through my Facebook ad, do not care to figure out what I'm talking about. They don't care to take the 2 moments, the 2 minutes or the 2 seconds to figure out what I'm talking about in instructional design and if that's going to help them. They're just thinking, oh my gosh, what if my program doesn't get results? What if I don't know how to structure this? What if I overwhelm my people with content? Those are the words that my clients are using. And I can use my knowledge of instructional design and curriculum design to help them. But I'm not going to come at it with those words because no one's going to pay attention. Does that make sense? So some people will, for sure. If I say, hey, I have a background in instructional design, yeah, some people do pay attention to that. But that's not going to hook people in. Does that make sense? For the most part. So you want to start with a problem that people need solved, the words they're using to describe that problem, and then you show how your expertise can be a fit for them. So if you design your program just around your expertise and not around the problem that you solve, I mean, honestly, you might not get sales, and that is okay. Which brings me to my next big idea. And this is why you cannot create in a vacuum and what to do instead. So the next big mistake I've seen people making is they think, okay, I want to create it on this particular piece of expertise that I have. And so then they just start creating their program because there's this fear of, what if I'm not prepared enough? What if I don't have everything ready when I go to sell it? I need to know what I'm selling. So I need to create it all and then I'll go to sell it. The problem with this, and I totally understand, you do want to be prepared because before I even say this, you do want to have a level of preparation and readiness before you go to sell and before you go to teach your program 100% or deliver your program. But you want to prepare the right things because it's not about cutting corners. It's about doing fewer things better, right? And so sometimes people tell me like, oh, but I do want to create it all because I don't want to cut corners. I'm not saying you need to cut corners. I'm saying what are the few things that you need to do very well so that you can adapt to what your clients need. So what you need to do instead of creating everything in a vacuum first is you need to do a beta test. You need to put your offer out there before you fully create it and say, hey, I'm thinking about creating this thing. Would you be interested in it? Don't create the whole thing because you might go to create it and have something that nobody buys. You need to say, hey, I'm thinking of creating this thing. Yes, you can create the structure. Yes, you can think about your offer and the promise and the problem that you solve. There are pieces, and this is what I teach, of course, there are pieces that you need to have in place before you can actually go to sell it, but you don't want to create the whole thing and then have nobody buy it. Does that make sense? So like one of my clients is a coach, and she just created a program that I'm so excited for her about. She's a writing coach. And one of her concerns was if she didn't have it all prepared in advance, she wouldn't be ready enough to help her clients. But it's not, again, like I said, it's not about not being prepared or cutting corners. It's about preparing the right things. So when she got really clear on what the problem is that she was going to solve, what her unique angle and solution was for it, and when she could really get a sense of this is what my clients actually need, not all of her knowledge, again, coming back to that irrigation system, what are the few things that people need to solve this particular problem? She was able to create a very clear, well-designed outline. And she did go a little bit, she did have a little bit more, it was a little bit more robust. So she had her assignments that she was going to cover. She had the core content that she was going to cover. She had what she was going to have in her coaching calls. Like she had all that like outlined, but she wasn't going to create the whole thing. I didn't let her before she went to go and sell it. And as she created it and as she started talking about it, from the last time that we spoke, she already had 13 people on her wait list because they were interested in what she had to offer. So when you have the wait list, when you have a beta, then you can say, oh, I can see people are interested in this. I'm going to continue going down this path rather than creating a whole course or whole program that no one's going to buy, because you cannot create in a vacuum. You need to have people in front of you to really create a program that A, people are going to buy, and B, that people are going to get results from. The next big idea that I want to share is a key mindset shift that helps you go from what if no one buys to I know exactly how to sell this. And this I learned from a mentor once. And I remember feeling like, what if this doesn't work? What if I can't get this going? What if I, blah, 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 blah. And she said, all those fears, right? And she said, every funnel can work. Every funnel can work. You need to make it work. And this is really a major shift for me and maybe for you because it feels very counterintuitive. If you've ever put something out there and nobody buys it, you might think, oh, well, it's not like this isn't going to work. I need to create something new. And honestly, that is what I used to think. I used to just create new launch strategies, create new sales strategies because one didn't work. So I'd create something new, or one didn't work as well as I thought it would. So I'd create something new. But when you decide that it's not about having the perfect funnel, the perfect sales mechanism, the perfect offer right off the bat, and then you have to start from scratch. When you say, oh, no, I am going to make this thing work, you just continue to improve it and improve it and improve it. And the thing that's really difficult with that as a mindset shift is it feels like counterintuitive because it feels like, well, this didn't work the first time. Why should I keep doing this? Like it doesn't work. Why would I continue doing something that doesn't work? But you need to make it work. That's the shift. So I sell my signature program, design program, right? And I have tweaked like every single little section in my webinar. Like I have improved every single little piece. I've improved every single little piece of my show up sequence, and I'm still going to do more of that. There's steps along the way to in your funnel and in your sales mechanism, in your offer that you can improve and improve and improve and improve over time. And that's how you make sure your funnel works, which leads me to my last big idea that I want to share. I want to give you a concrete examples of this is how I went from no one buying my offer to having my biggest launch yet. So I did my beta and I had people buy and I was like, great, I have proof of concept. People are interested in learning this from me. I can go and create this and make it bigger. And the next time I went to launch it, I had zero buyers. And I was like, well, first off, obviously I was disappointed and discouraged. But then I was like, you know what? Every funnel can work. I just need to make this work because I was convinced I knew I had a product that could help people. I knew I had skills and a product that worked. People had gotten great results in my beta. I knew I could make it work, but I had to figure out a way that I could sell to colder audiences. So my main source of audience growth, lead generation right now are on Facebook ads, right? And I was like, I'm bound and determined to make Facebook ads work for me, but I just haven't made them work yet. I know that I can help people. I know that my offer and my program, I know my program is good. It's my offer and the way I'm selling it is not quite there yet. So I came in with that idea that I just need to make it work. So even though I got 0 sales on that sales mechanism, I learned from past me and did not create a whole new launch strategy. I used the same one, but I improved it time and time and time again. Every month since that time when I did not get a sale, which I mean, if I'm going to be truly transparent, was this summer, July. I did another workshop, August, September, October, November, every single month, at least one time since then. And I have since had my absolute biggest launch yet with the exact same program. But the difference is I have tweaked along the way. The big thing that I have really made an impact changed on is my offer, the way I package my program, what bonuses, what problem does it solve, different pieces like that. And I have gone through every single piece of my webinar to really improve it and refine it and speak to my ideal clients, because the more I've spoken to so many entrepreneurs, so many potential clients at this point. So I've gotten so much clearer on what people truly need, what they're really looking for, and how I can uniquely solve that, like what my unique proposition is, my selling proposition. So I have refined every single piece of my webinar. And now I'm going to go up to my emails and I'm going to refine every single email, every single piece of my sales mechanism. I've improved and improved and improved and tested and tweaked and split tested and just looked at it like a machine that I need to improve and refine, rather than saying, oh, this funnel doesn't work, I need to create something new. Because I think the biggest lesson that if you don't take anything else away from this episode, it really took me a long time to really grasp, is the difference between you and the people you look up to who are making, however, have the multiple 6-figure business or the 7-figure business. The difference between you and them is that they were exactly where you are right now. They went through a phase of what if this doesn't work and so forth. But instead of saying, oh, I need to find a new idea, I need to find a new sales funnel, I need to what if I need to give up, or just getting stuck? Not that I'm saying you're doing that, but if you are, I mean, I did that for sure. Is that they decided that they could make any funnel work. They really believed in their program and they just improved it and improved it and improved it and improved it over time. They improved their program, they improved their offer, they improved their sales strategy, like how they're getting in front of new people. They improved it over and over and over again. And that's how they got to the multiple 6-figure or 7-figure business. It wasn't by trying new ideas and new offers and new product. They took one thing and they made it work versus saying, oh, shoot, this didn't work. And it just feels so, I don't know about you, but it feels so counterintuitive to keep working at a thing that didn't work for you. Because it's like, why would I keep doing something that didn't work the first time? Why would I do a webinar that nobody bought from? But I did it. And honestly, I'm so glad I did. And now I can see like it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. It felt so counterintuitive. Like, why would I do something that didn't work the first time? So I want to encourage you, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like, what if this doesn't work? There are some key mindset shifts and strategies you need to look at. In terms of strategy, you need to know what the problem is that you solve and how your clients, your potential clients, are articulating that problem so that you could speak the way they're speaking rather than coming at it from your own expertise. Another strategy to remember is that you can't create in a vacuum. You need to put it out there and do a beta test first to make sure that it's something that people are willing to pay for before you go to create it, and then you can improve it over time. Once you have that, the main mindset shift that I wanted to share before I shared my own story is that instead of saying, what if no one buys, is to know exactly how to sell this, you need to say to yourself, every funnel can work or every sales mechanism can work. When you really, truly believe in your product, it's just about making it work, not like finding this magical thing that does all the work for you. Does that make sense? So I hope that you found this episode helpful. If you did, I would love it if you left a review on iTunes or on whatever podcast platform you listen to, Spotify. I would love it if you left a review because it allows for other people to discover the show and to see that it could be helpful for them as well. So I would love it if you left a review. I read every one of them. And I will see you on next week's episode of the Align and Inspire podcast.